And we're live, everybody. This is the Jim Masters Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. And we've got some amazing guests joining us from the middle of the United States, Ohio. Yes, we've got the guys from the Drifter Kings, very popular contemporary rhythm and blues band. They're going to play music for us live just for all of you, the JMS Lovedies watching around the world, and for me, of course. And we're so excited. We wanted to put this show together for a while. And the guys, they're busy. You know, they're in the studio. They're recording. They've got a new album out. We're really excited about that. I'm going to tell you about that. There it is on the screen. This is a great song, too. The title, Devil in My Kitchen. You're going to love it. And this is really cool because they play off each other so well. They're like brothers. And the newest member of the group is John Simon. So you have, of course, founding member Doug Osgard. He's there on the bottom right. And then you've got Tony Harp, and you have, of course, John Simon, and they're all there together on your screen. Now, of course, Doug is the drummer and founding member, Tony, bassist, vocalist, and John, the newest member of the group, guitarist and vocalist as well. And their music right now is climbing the blues chart in this direction. It's going through the roof. And it's because they're really good. The music is absolutely great. And you're going to have an opportunity to get a taste of it on this episode of the show. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to have you here. And so good to have the Drifter Kings here joining us live from Ohio. We're going to have a good time. If you guys want to interact with us while the show is on, you can do that. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel where we house almost 1,000 episodes of the Jim Masters Show live series with all these guests that come in from Hollywood and television, music, stage, film, Broadway, comedy, sports, inspiration, science and nature, health and wellness, all from around the world too. Our viewers, our guests are international. And thanks for all the love and support and all the comments and sharing of the links on your social media. It means the world to us, as we are just a couple of shows away now in just 3.5 years of 1,000 episodes. And it's so absolutely fantastic. I want to tell you a little bit about the group, but if you want to comment and interact with us during the live show, just subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and you could be a part of the JMS Lovedy Hall chat room. There's a chat room open and available right now, and you guys can chat with one another and say hello to us. We might even, that's something we do because we're interactive here at JMS, we might even put a comment or two on the screen as well. Yeah, we like to do that. We like to interact with our viewers. We value our viewers greatly. It's so important to value the viewers, and we always do. We love all of you. So let's tell you a little bit about the guys. We're so excited to have them here. And again, everybody loves them. Once you hear them, you fall in love with them. Contemporary blues roots band from Central Ohio who perform original and creatively arranged blues classics in a wide range of styles from Piedmont to Delta to Chicago. The Drifter Kings were Columbus Blues Alliance 2019 Blues Challenge winners and represented Central Ohio in the 2020 International Blues Challenge in Memphis, Tennessee as well. And we're excited to tell you that they also were winners of the 2009 River City, Ohio Blues Competition. They represented blues, jazz, and folk music, the Society of Marietta, at the 2010 International Blues Challenge in Memphis, Tennessee. Again, their debut CD, Diamonds on the Desert Floor, was produced by Alligator recording artist Michael Hill, and it was nominated by the Blues Foundation of Memphis, Tennessee as a top 5 finalist at the 2011 International Blues Challenge, and received airplay on stations all across North America, South America, Europe, as well as a pick to click on Sirius XM's BB King's Bluesville. Was also featured as a winner of Blues Review magazine's sponsor of the bands contest in the May and June 2011 issue. And on November 18th, 2018, the band released a new CD, Daddy Long Leggin'. It's a 5-song EP of all original songs. And since its release, it's gotten a lot of airplay on radio stations in the United States, Canada, Europe, and Australia. And the Drifter Kings have opened up for a lot of great people. Candy Kane and Room Full of Blues, Eddie the Chief Clearwater, Little Ed and the Blues, Imperials, and Ted Nugent, and also many, many others. They also released a new CD called Devil in My Kitchen in 2023 on Momo Joe Records. And I want to let you know as well, they're excited about that. I just want to tell you a little of their background too, which is really exciting because Mojo Records just signed the band 2010 in the International Blues Challenge as semifinalists. And what's really cool are the members and their backgrounds, which are extraordinary. Doug, drummer and founding member of the band, boasts a musical pedigree, which includes years of full-time work in New York City, where he hails from. He's originally from New York. And yeah, we were just talking about, the New York connections that we have with family and friends and colleagues and so much more. So tell you a little bit more about Doug, founding member of the band. Played on many national commercials, Broadway, off-Broadway shows. He's toured the United States with esteemed acts, including Luther Allison, Johnny Winter, Big Bill Morganfield, Bo Diddley, Gary U.S. Bonds, Johnny Rivers, Little Anthony, and the Imperials. Isn't that cool? Many, many more, too. It's kind of exciting. Bassist and vocalist Tony Harp has been playing for 25 years, working with numerous well-known artists, including Neal and Steve Amedee of the Subdudes, and also the newest member of the Drifter Kings, guitarist and vocalist John Simon, has toured the United States playing guitar in the Army Band, a fixture on the Dayton music scene for the past 10 years. He has opened for comedian Robin Williams, country artist Travis Tritt, rocker Ted Nugent, and many more. And his style of music reflects the many influences of Americana music. And yeah, this is really cool. And that's just the short list of their impressive backgrounds as individuals, and then, of course, gang, as a group. So we are excited. We see a lot of comments built up. Gang, if this is your first time joining us here at the Jim Masters Show Live, we welcome you, and you. Spread the word. Don't keep it a secret, and get ready for a fabulous conversation and great music coming up right now with our special guests. The Drifter Kings are in the house on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Hey, guys, welcome to the show. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, how are you? So how are things in Ohio?
They're good. Things are going good. It's been unseasonably warm today here in Delaware, but things are going pretty good.
Just so anybody with this, he said Delaware, but they're actually in Delaware, Ohio, just so you know. Right. But I thought you said Ohio. They're in Delaware, Ohio. And then Tony is from Arkansas, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. Yes. And John, you hail from?
Northwest Iowa.
Northwest Iowa is in the house as well. I was mentioning, guys, I absolutely love the studio that you're in. Tell us about it. It's really, really cool.
It's my studio. It's my personal space and a commercial space. It's Kaler Hill Recording. Finally moved to Ohio and finally got a chance to do the thing and build the building and do all the work. So far, I've had a few people in here. It's worked out really well. John, I've had him in here for a couple of his solo things. That's been fun. It's my own baby. I did all the work and sourced all the materials and built it all. So
it is really, really nice. It's awesome. How did you guys come together? And initially, Doug, tell us about the origins of the Drifter Kings.
Okay, well, the band's been together in some form or another for about 13 years. It started. There was actually it was a quartet. There was a lead singer at one time, and that's when the album "Diamonds on the Desert Floor" came out. And Michael Hill is a friend of mine, so brought him out here to produce it, and he helped produce that record. And then after the singer left and kind of put a new regime together with some other people that are not here with me, because I say it's been around for a while, and there's been other incarnations of it. What happened with the way we got Tony, I slowly started, players started to come and go a little bit. And then Tony actually, before he moved out here, was still in Colorado, and knowing he was moving out here, saw an ad on Craigslist. And the ad was very specific. And we talked, I said, well, we have a bass player at the moment, but keep in touch. Anything can happen. So when he got out here, anything did happen. The bass player left. Tony came in and joined the play, and it worked out. So he joined the band. And then we had a guitarist who's on the CD, Devil in My Kitchen, Chris Whitney. He was with us for many years. And then he decided he needed a break. So again, put an ad out, put feelers out. Again, very specific. You have to, like you said, the band does songs in the Piedmont style. You've also got to know second line, and it helps if you can sing. And we all write, so it also helps if you can write, because Tony writes, I write, and so we'll do anybody's songs as long as it's a good tune. The band will do it. So then John answered the ad amongst other people, and we had some time wasters. I'll tell you the truth. Tony can attest to that. And then John came and joined the group. As I said, he joined us in January of this year. And then what happened was we rehearsed with him for, I'd say, about 8 weeks. And then we had a Southern East Coast tour lined up in Florida. And so we threw him under the bus, and he came threw him in the bus, and he came with us to Florida, and has been with us ever since.
Or under the surfboard, like we were saying, right?
Oh,
when you
sure.
talked about Florida, right? But independently, each of you have extraordinary careers. You have been in music in various ways, shapes, and forms, individually, in epic ways. Doug, let's first start with you. I mean, I could have continued probably for 40 minutes just rattling off your incredible career. Tell us about how you got started and some of the extraordinary things that you had a chance to work on that you're proud of, and that kind of cool for the audience to hear, even before the creation of the Drifter Kings.
Oh, all right. As I was telling you, I'm originally from New York, from Manhattan. Then my folks moved to northern New Jersey when I was about 7 years old. And so I grew up in Teaneck, New Jersey. And my father actually was lead sax player for Eddie Ducey and Sammy Kaye, the big band era. So there was music always in the house. And also show business has been around, because you may actually know, well, maybe you've known my aunt, the Fifi Oscard agency. That's my aunt. She has now passed away. So I've been around show business most of my life. My brother was a child actor.
Really?
Oh yeah, he's out of show business now, but he was a child actor, did movies such as Brothers Karamazov.
Wow,
Face
yeah.
of Fire. So I've been around that most of my life.
Yeah.
And I started playing drums when I was 10 years old. I took private lessons from a New York Broadway pit orchestra drummer, Roger Mancuso. Did that all the way up through high school, and then went off to college. Came back, and then I got to study with a very well-known studio drummer, Gary Chester. He wrote the New Breed books, volumes 1 and 2. You may not know his name, but you'll know songs he was on, such as Sugar Sugar by the Archies.
Oh, yeah.
Do,
do, do, do, do, do.
Right. And then also Brown Eyed Girl, Van Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. All the way to San Jose. I mean, I can keep on going. I mean,
Yeah.
Poison
Wow.
Ivy by the Coasters.
Wow.
So I studied with him. And what ended up happening was, after a while, he started kind of managing a few of the students. I was one of them. So what he would do is he'd get us, he was fading himself out of the studio work. And so but he got a call to do a Kelly Tire commercial. He gave that to me. I got to do a Kelly Tire commercial. Another student got to do maybe something else. There were 3 of us that he actually managed at the time. And what happened was, so he would job it out when he didn't want to do that session. He got to do a Kelly Tire, got to do a couple of Budweiser commercials. And also from there, I eventually studied with him. And I eventually was part of the New York music scene. and with a pop band called The Method. We got signed to a subsidiary of Warner Brothers called Career Records, and at that time in the 70s, the music scene, record companies were signing bands to single deals. So we had a couple of singles out. We had the remake of the Angels tune, My Boyfriend's Back, and then the other one was a remake of the Buddy Holly tune, Oh Boy. And then we had a song, an original tune written by a gentleman named Rich Deans called, I'm trying to remember the song now. I can't remember. I'm forgetting the name of the song now. Oh, Blue Eyes, White Lies.
Oh, yeah.
And that broke us because it got played a lot on the station WNEW at the time.
WNEW, yeah.
And what happened was we eventually opened up for T-Rex at the Ritz. It's a club that doesn't exist anymore. But we opened up for T-Rex at the Ritz with the Bad Brains, a punk band out of Washington, D.C. The next day, actually, we were at the airport on our way to Europe with the Bad Brains, the Method, and teamed up with a band called the Dots and toured Europe. And when we came back, due to unforeseen circumstances, we lost our deal. And then at that time, I met a woman, a producer. It was a friend of my mother's, Rosemary McCoy. She used to produce Cool and the Gang, The Dells. And I started doing work for her. And she actually introduced me to Billy Mercy, whose father was fired from Columbia Records, and Clive Davis took that job over. And my first gig for her was with the Marvelettes when there were still 2 original members left. So,
which Melissa Manchester was part of, right?
She wasn't there.
Or was that Bette Midler?
That may have been Bette Midler, because
and I think Melissa came in after, I believe, maybe.
And so what happened was that was my first gig with the Marvelettes, and she's actually got that for me. And then eventually it morphed into backing up for 2.5 years Joey D from Joey D and the Starlighters.
Wow.
And so what happened with that was I spent 2.5 years with Joey D touring all around, and at some of the downtime he would job the band out. And so we would do tours with, I did 2 tours with Bo Diddley, and we also did a lot of legend tours at the time. These singers would back each other up. Joe would sing a couple of his hits, and the backup singers could be Bobby Lewis, who did Tossin' and Turnin', Jimmy Jones, who did Good Time and Handyman. In fact, Handyman was a song recovered by James Taylor, and Jimmy Beaumont from the Skyliners. And then Jimmy Beaumont would come up front, sing a song, and they would back him up. And then also Eddie Bugatti from the Rascals was on it. So I did a lot of those tours. And as I say, that's how I got to back up a lot of those artists that you mentioned in the opening of the show.
Yeah, that's incredible. And gang, he just did the condensed Reader's Digest version of his career. Tony, how about you? You've been making your mark too over the years. Tell us about some of your early inspirations in music and the time before the Drifter Kings.
Oh man, let's see. I guess growing up, my first influence was probably Elvis. My mother always played Elvis. She loved Elvis, so therefore I loved Elvis. But yeah, I started listening to rock and roll early, listening to the local radio stations and rock stations back when pop stations, played all the good stuff. And also the country stations where I grew up. There's a lot of both of that. I guess I started music. I was in 6th grade, played saxophone, played in the school band, did all the things, tried to excel in school bands and in high school, and did all the all district bands and stuff like that, and the whole state bands. And into high school, ended up getting into what they call the drum and bugle corps. It's like a marching band with all brass instruments, lots of power. So I did that for a couple of years, which is a lot of fun. And then I got into college and got into jazz band. And one of my big influences was my jazz band director, Joe Davis. He's probably one of the saxophone players I just try to listen to as much as I can, even though no one's ever heard him. To me, my hierarchy is John Coltrane, Dexter Gordon, and Joe Davis. Those are the three most important saxophone players to me. So I got to learn from him and play in his jazz bands, and learn so much. I did a lot of stuff that I didn't even realize I knew until years later. At about that time, I started getting into the blues. Started wanting to play guitar more. So I started getting with some local blues guys, and they showed me the ropes a little bit, and then it just kind of sailed from there. I always tell people I used to drive in college. I used to be a delivery driver for Domino's, and that's where I really learned how to play the blues, because I sit there for 4 or 5 hours a night, listen to the Allman Brothers and Albert King and everybody important driving up and down the road, and I knew what the bass player was doing. I went home and had to figure it all out. So, and then after that, I moved.
And you
around
got it all in, and you got it all in 30 minutes or less. Like Domino's.
Yeah. I tried to anyway. And then started moving around the country and meeting other people and playing with other people, and eventually got a recording degree when I lived in Asheville, North Carolina. And then from there, started doing recording and live music, a lot of that. And like I say, I did get the chance to back up Kenny Neal a couple of evenings. That was a lot of fun.
That's cool, yeah.
And play some gigs with Steve Amedee, as he said, from the Subdudes.
Yeah.
He used to live in the same town I did, in Fort Collins, Colorado. So it was kind of easy to hook up and play gigs with those guys, because they kind of moved from New Orleans at one point and stationed out of Fort Collins just to get out of New Orleans and kind of have but since then they've done a lot of other things. But yeah.
How did you connect with Doug? How did that whole connection happen?
Well, I was living in Colorado, and my wife had just gotten a job at Ohio State. And so we were relocating for that. And I was pretty excited because the music scene is much better here than where I was living in Colorado, as far as the amount of talent to pull from and play with. And then, like you said, I just started looking around for bands on Craigslist and stuff. And that was the most interesting one. It's definitely the most interesting sounding ad. And we talked. And like I said, eventually when I got here, I was playing with other bands, and he said, "Hey, we need another bass player, or a new one." So I was like, "All right, I'll give it a shot and see what happens." And it's worked out. It's worked out okay. 5 years. This has been okay.
I think it has worked out okay. Absolutely. You guys are, your sound is really unique. It's something very, very special. And I encourage folks to get all the music they can from you guys. And then John, being the newest member of the group, guitarist and vocalist, tell us about some of your incredible background prior to joining the Drifter Kings as well.
Yeah, obviously super humbled by these guys. Just to be playing with them is awesome. With that, those illustrious drummer, it's done everything, so it's really cool.
It's all past.
Yeah, it's awesome. I kind of started out as a young metalhead and went to college for music, and then needed something to do, so I joined the Army band, did a tour in Iraq with the band for 10 months, and then came back and pretty much just working as a sideman. I'm kind of a quick study, so I can learn pretty quick and play on my feet. So just kept real busy doing that for the last several years. So hooked up with these guys.
What's it like being in the Army band? I mean, they are incredible.
Yeah, there are actually a bunch of Army bands. The DC bands are obviously top of the list. But I was at a couple places at Fort Hood and Fort Monroe, and we kind of just were soldiers, and we have another mission of playing music as well. So very cool.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely awesome. So then, Doug, how'd you come up with the name, the Drifter Kings?
Oh, okay. That goes back to when the band was first put together. There was the lead singer and didn't want to just put her name out. It was a female. Did not want to just put her name out, and everybody puts out, Joe this band or whatever, or Sally Klein band. So I said, your name can be up front, but got to come up with some kind of band name. And so tossed a bunch of names around and didn't really like any of them. I mean, really, it took weeks to come up with something. Then we liked the Drifter. Then we put maybe the Plain Drifters. We started playing with all different types of other words because we liked the Drifter. That was the given. And finally, and I can't remember exactly if it was me or somebody else, said, how about the Drifter Kings? And that just rolled off the tongue really nice, and said, yeah, that's it. And now we need a logo. So it's like, okay, what kind of logo we're going to do? And actually, there were these two guys I knew. I can't believe they did it for only $100. They each took $50 a piece. And they came up with several different versions. But what we ended up settling on was this guy who's got a crown on his head. And instead of the stick with there he goes, instead of the stick with a bandana wrapped up with all his belongings, he's got the guitar over his shoulder.
That's really cool.
Everybody thinks it's real cool. I mean, we were down in Florida, and one of the bartenders at a place called the Little Bar, and it's called the Little Bar for a reason. It is little. The complex is huge, but the bar is so small, and they cram it in. She even turned around. That's the last time we heard it. She goes, you got a shirt, one of your T-shirts? You guys have the coolest logo. So people really do like it. I think it's pretty cool, and other people really like it. But that's how we came up with the name.
How do you describe the Drifter Kings sound? You all have your own individual backgrounds, and you come together, blend together to create this unique sound that the Drifter Kings have. How do you describe it? If there's folks watching right now who are learning about you for the first time and they're going to check out the music, how do you describe the vibe and the sound of the Drifter Kings?
Oh, okay. Oh, you want me to answer that?
Each of you. Yeah, you can start with you, Doug. Sure.
Okay. We are, like you said, we're blues roots. I want to say Americana type band, fine, because with new members, and we've had new members, the dynamics of a band change. I mean, as I say, everybody in this band who's in it now and has been in it writes. So Tony's influences are different than my influences, and now that John's influences are different than mine and Tony's. But we said before, if you've got a good song, we're going to do it. Now, for example, I mean, John said he came from a metal background. Well, we're not going to. He can't come in with a song that's like, Black Sabbath. We're not going to do that. He knows that. But
we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. What?
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, that may happen then. But
you heard it here first on the Jim Masters Show. We have a graphic for that. It's JMS exclusive.
Okay, but we, as I said, and as I said, because these ads that I ran were very specific. We do songs that are in the Piedmont style, which is what actually Reverend Gary Davis, Mississippi John Hurt, those guys did the Piedmont style. So we have songs in that style, and also Chicago style. And as I say, we also do things in the second line, which is out of New Orleans. So you got to it's very demanding on the guitar player. And we do our shows consist of opening up with, lack of a better term, I call it back porch numbers, which I guess we'll do something for you in a bit, with stomp box, tunable tambourine. Tony mentioned the Subdudes. They didn't have a drummer. Their percussionist actually built a frame drum with a membrane over it and hits it and gets different sounds out of it. I stole that idea. I took a tunable tambourine that I don't mind hitting with a blast stick, and we do songs with that. I also have a frottoir. We're not going to do anything with that tonight because it would blow up the microphone. But we do songs with the frottoir, which is the Zydeco vest. And also a stomp box. I have an acoustic stomp box that we're going to use tonight, but a friend of mine built me an electronic one who lives lives in Chicago. So we open up with our songs with a back porch number, and then we move into the electric songs. And that seems to be kind of unusual. That really, when we play that kind of stuff, especially because all bands play electric guitar, bass, drums. The cameras seem to come out. They seem to enjoy that. So that's a little different than what other bands do. So that's, I guess you say that's kind of our sound. We start off like, the old time guys stomping on the porch, playing the acoustic guitar, singing, and then we move to electric.
That is really, really cool. And what's the response been? I mean, I know when you're on stage with an audience in front of you, it's very hard to match that kind of connection with people responding to the music. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer being out on stage amongst the people, or do you like being in the studio making the music? You guys individually and as a group?
I guess I'd say I like both of them. I definitely like being in the studio and working on a song and, trying to create it and maybe work a line out or, make it right. That way, when you go do it live, you have something ready to present. I mean, yeah, I like it. I like it myself. I like it all. I'd love to play live, but I also, I could also spend like a month straight in my studio and not go leave either. So, as long as I'm doing music, I'm pretty happy.
With a studio like that, I wouldn't want to leave either. How about you, Doug? Studio, stage, amongst the people, a little of both?
I would have to say a little bit of both. I do enjoy the studio. It's obviously a more controlled atmosphere and all. So, yeah, I do enjoy that. And then live, I do like to feed off the audience. So I do enjoy performing live. I'll be honest, some gigs are better than other gigs, but you go where the work is. I mean, there's sometimes I'll just be funny. This band hasn't done it, but, I've played, I can't imagine how many times I played Lake City, Florida, which is a town with, one traffic light and 2 stores, or even the guys that can attest to, not that we don't like the bar Bargenta in a town called Argenta, but the whole town has 950 people in it. When we come in, it has 953.
Isn't that next to Magenta? Or
But yeah, it's actually not far from like Springfield, Illinois, and Decatur. But it's a great place. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the place gets packed. They're really receptive to the music. We're there because of the gig.
Yes,
as opposed to, if you're, playing like we're down in Florida, and obviously, we could be in Englewood, Florida, which is another cool club, and Englewood, Florida is pretty cool. So sometimes you're there for the work, and you probably would never be in Argenta if you didn't have to play there. Not that I'm putting anything down. Argenta is a great town.
Yeah. Exactly. And John, how about for you, stage, amongst the folks, or do you love studio or a little of both?
Yeah, I have to go with the boring answer, a little bit of both. You scratch different itches, Tony and I both kind of on a similar songwriting wavelength, so it's been fun to start to collaborate with him a lot, and I really enjoy, kind of taking the training wheels off on stage and just seeing what will happen with the song if you turn left when you usually turn right. So Doug doesn't always love that, but
not that bad.
No, you're good.
So I said you kind of, when you're working with people as long as far as hours and touring and studio time, day in and day out, you either, become the least of friends or the best of friends, even almost like brothers or sisters. For you, is it like that? Are you guys, you've got each other's back, you're all contributing, you're all playing off each other, kind of like brothers would? But then again, some brothers throw shoes at each other.
Well, we haven't killed each other yet. No. You bond pretty quickly because you have a lot of time. People think the road is real exciting. Well, it's a lot of the old phrase we used to do when I was with Joey D. We used to say, you got to get there and hurry up and wait and eat before the cheese starts to sweat when you get the cheese and cold cut platter. It's a lot of waiting around, sitting in a hotel room, and then until the gig starts, and then getting over there. So there is a lot of downtime. All that anybody else really sees is the performance end.
Right.
The several hours you're on stage, interacting with the audience and playing your music, and then packing up and going back to the hotel, waking up and driving to the next place. It could be just a few hours. It could be a day and a half.
Yeah,
So, and Tony keeps on saying, yeah, exactly. And as I said before, you're at a gig and the town is, the only reason why we're here is because of the show,
And you like the pizza.
Yeah, right. And then, then we're in another city. Well, this is a place you'd go on vacation and stuff. So yeah, it's not as glamorous as people think.
No, a lot of work putting it together. Yeah.
And but at least it's a good bond. Musicians are all we bond pretty quickly. I obviously didn't know Tony until he answered the ad. Now Tony and I are good friends.
Yeah.
John's the newest one. But we're friends. You know what I'm saying? He answered an ad. He didn't know it, and we said, "You're coming to Florida with us in 8 weeks. You're coming to Florida, and you're going to be in close quarters. Get in the van, we'll pick you up. He lives down near Dayton. We drive, be ready, we put the stuff in, and we're on our way. And it's we're driving. So we get somebody at that time.
What was the very first instrument you ever learned, Doug? What was the one you started on? It's interesting because a lot of times I'll talk to folks and maybe you'll know them because of the guitar, the piano, drums, whatever it is. And then they'll say, well, actually the first instrument for me was the flute or the violin or whatever. How about you?
Okay. Yes, my first instrument was saxophone. When it came time in, I believe it may have been 6th grade to take an instrument. And because I still wanted to play drums, but my father first said no, because he was a lead sax player for Eddie Duchin. As I said, we had an alto, a tenor, we even had a clarinet, we also had a flute, and we had piano. Pick one of those, he said. I said, oh, okay. So I picked the alto sax. Took all that up until I was 10. I kept on bugging him all the time. And I would bang, I'd hit the table, he'd say, stop that, all that. Kind of funny story, I'll tell it, that I kept on bugging him by saying, I want to play drums. I'd sit on the table. One day at the dinner table, my mother kind of was hinting like, I'm going to work it out for you that it'll probably end up happening. I got up off the table and started banging on my dad's head. And he said, stop it. Okay, you can play drums. So that's how it happened.
But
And literally, I banged on his head. I really did.
You did. It's it. There was no consequence other than, all right, you can play, right?
My mother, I worked out. I guess I wore him down, and my mother probably wore him down. And I guess the last straw was when I got up off the table and said, I want to play drums, and started tapping on his head.
And you just had to take the garbage out and mow the lawn for the rest of your life. Aside from that.
Right. I was relegated to the basement. Which is where the drums were.
They slipped the food under the door. That's
At least they knew where I was. I wasn't getting in trouble.
That's it.
How about
I was going to say, Tony? How about you? What was the very first instrument that you learned early on, maybe as a kid? And I wouldn't guess the harp.
No. My dad was a musician. He played harmonica. He played a chromatic harp around the house all the time. And he was great. I never learned the harp. I still like the harmonica. But I guess the first thing I learned is my mom had a little, small scale guitar for kids. And I started messing around on that a little bit. I never really learned any chords or anything like that. But that was kind of what guided me so I knew that that's really what I wanted to do, is something in music, throughout my life. So then after that, it was just like, being a kid, and suddenly school came up, and time to go join the band or the football team. And then the guy played the saxophone at the big, they always have this, big seminar in front of everybody, and he played all the instruments. And as soon as he played the saxophone, I was pretty stuck. And then after that, I moved on to bass, which I found actually is quite a bit of a natural process. I know a lot of bass players who study saxophone players to learn lines to play and lead lines and stuff like that. And a lot of bass players I know just love the saxophone as well. And I listen to a lot of I try to incorporate stuff from instrument to instrument, but there's something about the two instruments that's always worked well for me, which, yeah.
That's really cool. And how about you, John? What was the very first instrument for you?
I actually, probably Doug doesn't know this. I started on the drums, played that for a few years in fifth and sixth grade, seventh grade. I didn't really get it though. I didn't get that you could just go do what you wanted. I thought you had to read from the book all the time. So I quit that until I got a guitar from the JCPenney catalog for Christmas one year, and it was pretty much off to the races then.
We used to get a lot of our Christmas stuff out of the Sears Wish book.
Yeah.
And one time we got handed the Sears Wish book by Mom, and she said, okay, you guys can circle what you want in the toy section, which was always this fabulous section on the back of that book. And we'll see if Santa Claus will deliver those on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning. So, of course, Mom, with a very vivid memory, remembers everything. She said, do you remember the year that you had the Sears Wish book? And I said, circle the different things you hope Santa Claus brings you. I said, of course, that was each year we did that. You remember the year that you circled 99 items in the back of that book? That's, I didn't round it up to 100. I didn't want to be greedy. So I stopped at 99. That's it. The memories of childhood. My first instrument was violin at like 13, and then piano, and then doing guitar. But I love all instruments. They're just, there's just something about instruments that music is. I say it all the time on this show and elsewhere. Music is really like comedy, a universal language, and it brings people together, and it's a healer. If you want to feel good, or you just want to escape from the chaos of all the craziness going on in life, listen to the Drifter Kings, listen to some of these people we're talking about, and you'll feel good. You'll feel grounded. You'll have a good time. And music's very important to have in our lives, isn't it, guys?
Oh, no lie. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Like you said, it's the healing, therapeutic.
Yeah.
Universal language. I mean,
all those things.
Yeah.
If we were to come over there or to your individual houses, and we were going to listen to or dig into your music players, other than the Drifter Kings, of course, what would be in your player now, Tony?
You probably get a lot of Chris Stapleton right now. I've been listening to a lot of him, and I also tend to try to dig into playlists on Spotify that highlight a lot of the Americana classics as well as new stuff as well. So I'm kind of a country Americana kind of guy deep down.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Doug? What would be in your player now?
Well, probably I've been listening to some of the bands that I really like the Blasters, Room Full of Blues. Been listening to a lot of Taj Mahal for some reason lately, especially off the old folks at home Giant Step album. Also, I would say, let's see, some classic rock. I just actually listened to an old Mountain album today, Mountain Climbing. And I haven't heard that in a long time because I've gotten away from some of that heavier stuff. But John's shaking his head because, I guess they were instrumental back in the day of maybe the beginning of that heavy, I don't know you call it heavy metal. That's what that says on the internet with them. So I just listened to Mountain Climbing earlier today. Also because of possibly, to me, music is and drumming. I'll relate to drumming is not a destination; it's a journey. I'm studying right now myself. I still study. I study with Stanton Moore out of New Orleans, and so I'm into that whole sound a lot. So I've been listening to a lot of Professor Longhair, the Meters, Dr. John, all those type of acts because I'm influenced with that too. So I'm all over the spectrum there.
That is really cool. And you, John?
Yeah, kind of all over the place as well. Mostly last week or so has been a lot of bluegrass, like Tony Rice, Billy Strings. Jake Workman, all those guys just killing it. Flat pickers.
Yeah.
Julian Lodge, I saw him about a month ago in Cincinnati, and it's just, blows your mind. Yeah, it's so good. Wes Montgomery, Pat Metheny, a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah, Pat Metheny, absolutely. Here's some names from the past a little bit. Maynard Ferguson.
Oh yeah,
Buddy Rich.
Yeah,
of course.
Jeff Beck.
Yeah,
Yeah, all terrific. You probably guys appreciate all of them too, huh?
No
You ever
lie.
see Buddy Rich when he was on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson? You can see some of the clips on the internet now on YouTube. Just the guy was unreal.
Oh,
Yeah.
no lie.
His riffs is just like, it's incredible. You got to work out just watching. And Maynard Ferguson too on the trumpet. Just these guys, unreal. Just cool stuff. So you got some good stuff in your players gang, huh? Mixing it up. What, talking about the music itself, what inspires the music? Looking now at the songwriting and the development of the actual music and the sound, where does the inspiration come from for the music and specifically, and congratulations with the new album too, or this new music you've got out, Devil in My Kitchen. What was the inspiration?
Oh, okay, I guess since we all write, I guess I can say for myself, I play drums. I mean, drums is not I don't play a melodic instrument, at least not anymore. I don't play saxophone. I not say I did write a song off the previous EP, and I wrote it on saxophone. It's the instrumental called Daddy Longlegged. But for me, either I have a riff in my head and I go from there, or I have a rhythm pattern, and that's what happened with one of the songs on the new record, Devil in My Kitchen, called Fox in the Hen House. Actually, it's quite funny. I came up with a rhythm pattern, got it all that together, but didn't have lyrics. And my wife had a poem called Fox in the Hen House. I guess she listened to a bunch of old blues songs, and they have, like Red Rooster, that 5 song in particular she mentioned, Little Red Rooster. So she was mentioning barn animals. So she wrote this thing about Fox in the Hen House. And so when I wrote the rhythm pattern and got the song together, I said, need some lyrics. She threw that at me, made a few changes, and that was the inspiration. That's how that song came about. So my inspiration, because I'm a drummer, comes from different sources because of that. Either writing as a rhythm pattern first and then build it from there, or I just have a riff in my head and then I expand that riff and take it from there. So that's how I write. I mean, these guys, since they play a lot, Tony plays bass, but it's a guitar with just 4 strings. He has no problem playing guitar, so he has obviously a different inspiration how he writes, and then John also. So,
What's yours, Tony?
I guess I never write on bass. I always write on guitar. As far as like waiting for inspiration, I don't really believe in inspiration so much as I believe in trying to sit down and inviting it to happen. You sit down, okay. Although I tell you that I've sat down and I've written some songs like lickety split because I've been thinking about it for so long, and all of a sudden something clicks with the music and they just come out, and I get to edit it later and make it better. But usually it's work, and I try to brag and be a pretty big promoter I try to write 30 minutes a day and do something about it. And some days all you can do is sit there and just look at the page and think about it. And then that's kind of your writing that day. And then next day you come back and then you maybe get something down or so. But it's work. It's something you got to do every day. It's
like being an athlete, the practice and over
you
and
got
over,
to
muscle memory.
Condition yourself. Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, you get better at it. You're like, oh, I learned this yesterday. Now I can use it and learn something else, or
apply it to.
And writing a song is never the same. You write a song and you get done, you're like, God damn, I'm good, man. Yeah. Yeah. And then you go write the next song, you're like, oh, I'm horrible at this.
Yeah.
It's hard, but
absolutely. How about you, John?
Yeah, a lot of what I'm doing just is trying to capture a feeling or a moment in time, and just you can find metaphors to say it and kind of help people understand, that feeling you're going after. But yeah, it's really just strumming, and hopefully something comes out, and then you're like try to make lemonade, I guess.
That's it, right? We want to hear some of the sound of the Drifter Kings. You guys want to share something with us, which we really appreciate. It's kind of you to do that.
Okay. As we say, we'll do an acoustic number. In fact, I'll hold it up. This was off of the EP that came out called Daddy Longleggin. We'll do a song actually that Tony wrote called Back to the Country.
Very cool. The Drifter Kings joining us. Hey, gang, if you're enjoying this episode, let us know. Give us a like, thumbs up, leave a comment for us, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Here's their website, thedrifterkings.com, and the newest music is right here, Devil in My Kitchen. We've got Tony, John, and Doug joining us live from the studio in Ohio. Drifter Kings.
Okay. Sorry, I thought we were ready.
Well, he's from New York, so he's eager. He's always a step ahead.
Well, interesting enough, this is a song. I lived in New York City for 3.5 months.
You did.
Long enough to realize I need to get back home.
Got to get back to
this
the
is
roots.
This is probably one of the songs I ever wrote and have written in New York.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That is awesome, guys. That is a great song. I tell you, it makes you feel really good just hearing it. I imagine when you're on stage and now you can hear me, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't have my headphones. I didn't think they'd reach back there.
So I'll rewind. It's fantastic. It's awesome. It's great. No, it's a great sound. And anybody listening right now, I'm sure they're enjoying themselves. So that's on the first album, you said?
Yes, that's on the it's an 5-song EP called Daddy Long-Legged. There are 5 songs on it. We've got, as I say, Back to the Country, Tony wrote. Then there's a song called You Got a Minute With It I wrote, and Daddy Long-Legged, which is an instrumental, which is the title of it. And then this is before John joined the band. There's 2 songs written by our other guitar player who recorded this with us, Chris Whitney, called Beats Me, and also Son of a Gun. And Son of a Gun, he wrote that song. He said, we can't do songs with the frottoir, it'll blow up the microphone. At least so Tony says. and so he wrote that specifically for the frottoir. And not to interrupt, but I noticed that someone wrote, what is that instrument that hangs around my neck? And it is it's called a frottoir. People call it a washboard. Washboard is completely different. Not to say it's not a type of washboard, but it's the vest, and it's the Zydeco vest that people either play with spoons or you can play it with can openers. I mean, because that's what I use. I bought it from the gentleman out in Louisiana called Z Boards. Give him a plug. Z Boards. It's the same gentleman who made them for Buckwheat Zydeco, Clifton Chenier, and it's the vest though. So the washboard is a washboard. It is a type of washboard, but it's called a frottoir. Someone wanted to know about that, so I thought I'd.
How many different instruments do each of you play?
4 or 5.
Do you really?
I mean, I played around with all of them, learning to be a band director and all that, all the strings and stuff like that. But I can play 3 or 4 or 5 pins.
How about you, Doug?
Well, I really don't play the saxophone anymore, so everything I do is pretty much percussion oriented. Besides the drums, and as I say, I kind of do, as I say, the frottoir, which is I learned how to do that by watching lots of video. There's not really anybody that can teach you how to play that instrument.
Just knowing how to pronounce it should give you a Grammy.
There are some stock rhythm patterns, especially in Zydeco music. You can play in 3/4 the walls or and all, but there are certain patterns and certain ways to play it. Sometimes I use it more percussive and I hit it. In fact, if anybody listens to that song, Son of a Gun, I am hitting it also as a percussive instrument. Obviously, that's a stomp box back there, which is what it is. It's a box and you stomp on it. That one's an acoustic one. I do have an electronic one that you can plug into the PA system. I also, and as I say, I stole that idea of the tambourine from the Subdudes, even though he doesn't use his tambourine. And then I do have I bought a very expensive tambourine, and most people see tambourine players do this. No, I actually took 2 lessons. One from Herman Riley, who's a master at that, and also Stanton Moore. And it's the Baptist gospel way. You play it like this. So it's that kind of movement. And you can get your patterns that way. That's the way they do it out in New Orleans anyhow. And then I can play, I do know techniques. I don't own one, but it's all percussive, as I said, xylophone, marimba, vibraphone. They're all 3 similar instruments, just constructed differently and all. I have played timpanis in the past, but everything is percussive oriented.
And John, how about you?
I play a little piano, but I'm pretty much a hack. There's just so many ways to play the guitar that just keeps me busy. So like slide guitar, finger style, flat picking, electric, acoustic, all that stuff. So try to treat them as different instruments. So
right, exactly. You guys touring, right? Or you have some dates that are coming up too.
Yes, we will be in Erie, Pennsylvania not this weekend, but next Friday. We'll be in Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm trying to think of the ones that are out of town. We will be in, I forget the exact date, in November. We will be in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the oldest bar in that area, the Slippery Noodle. And that's a really fun club. And we'll be there in November. People can, if I can plug our website,
There it is on the screen. Okay. Yeah.
They can go to thedrifterkings.com and see where we're playing. More gigs are being booked because it's getting near the end of the year.
Yeah.
And all. But the one in Erie, PA, if anybody from is listening, watching this, listening to this from your show from that area, that's a great club. It's called Club 33. It's actually it's built like a speakeasy. When you walk on the street, in fact, the first time we went to play it, we're walking we had the address, we're looking around, and we can't find it. And someone said, "Are you looking for room 33?" We go, "Yeah, you're right in front of it. Go right there." I looked at it; it looks like an empty store.
Yes.
All we saw was a bookcase against the far wall, and some kind of display case and a lamp on the left. Yeah. They said, no, walk in there. It's really there. We walk in. We walk to the bookcase.
Yes.
You open it up. You walk through the bookcase, and there's the club.
It's like an episode of Batman. The bookcase opens, and
exactly. I mean, the club is great. At all. In fact, when John played the first time, my wife is from there, so my wife does come with us when I play there. John's wife came with him because we described it. She thought it was so cool, I guess. Let's go. So his wife came also.
I was brought to a speakeasy actually in Little Italy in New York, in Manhattan. And it was after a festival, and they said we were having dinner with friends and colleagues. There was PBS colleagues, and they said, "We're going to go to a speakeasy now." And I'm like, "Okay, where is it? What?" So we're going, and then all of a sudden we just go down these very indiscriminate, random stairs down to this door. It looks like there's nothing there. There's nothing. There's no signs. Nothing's blinking. There's no arrows. There's nothing. There's no red carpet. None of that. There's just these indiscriminate dark stairs that lead to this door. And they knew it. The people I was with, they knew what to do. Certain kind of a knock. And then there was this little square, which was like a window. And the window just went open quick. They looked. It closed, and then suddenly the door opened, and we were inside. It was like a movie.
Was that an after-hours club, or was it a legit club?
It was the real deal, but it was in the evening. Yeah, it was an evening situation, and then you go inside, and there's all this activity happening. But if you walked by, you would never know. Right. You'd have no idea of what's what's happening in the speakeasy. It was really quite fascinating. It was kind of cool. What is your hope for the Drifter Kings? What do you see as the future? What are some cool things that you'd like to do? Would you like to tour across the country, go to Europe, go to Canada? I mean, is there some big visions for the group, or do you just like staying in the regionalized areas?
Well, I guess you always want to expand where you play and gain new fans. Now the band, this lineup has not, but the band has played out of the country. The band has played Canada, Toronto, not this lineup. So I mean, we pretty much would go anywhere. And so out of the country, Europe, there's a lot. Europe really likes this kind of music. And there are a lot of festivals out there. And Canada, again, is a great spot, especially Toronto and the area. There is a great festival that happens in September and is sponsored by Tim Hortons. And,
Donuts,
right. It's, I'm trying to remember, it's the Tim Horton Blues. They call it the Shuffle. The 3-day festival. I have played it before, opening up for Savoy Brown, Kim Simmons, before he passed away. So that's the vision for the band, to get out there more and play and make more music.
So, Tony, I usually like to ask the guests, what are some of the blessings and joys in your life that sort of give you the stamina to do what you do and the passion to do what you do? What are some of those blessings and joys in your life that get you to continue making this great music? And now, of course, with the Drifter Kings.
Oh man, what a question. I guess the main joys in my life are music and it's just, I mean, what a question. Well, I guess music and my farm. My wife and I have a little farm here in Ohio, and keeps me pretty busy. Keeps me thinking about songs all day. I can work all day, but I can still think about what I'm doing. I'm lucky enough that I do work from home with the studio and just playing with the band as well. So I guess I just really, at this point, honestly, I have to say my life, because I don't know if I had it much better than I have it right now. So, yeah. So that's fairly inspiring. So
Beautifully said. How about you, John?
Yeah, I have a lovely wife at home and 2 teenage boys, and just a lot of fun to hang out with and kind of rejuvenate. And then music is just kind of this endless pursuit. There's always something to learn. Always easy to find motivation to sit down and do it. So just kind of self-perpetuating.
Absolutely. And Doug?
Same thing. I think my life's pretty blessed. I mean, seen a lot of this. I've seen Europe. I've seen a lot of this country by playing music also. I got a very supportive wife who encourages me to keep doing this. In fact, she has her own outlet too. She has I'm going to plug it. She has a Celtic radio show on the NPR station here in Columbus area, WCB from 4 to 6 p.m. called Toss the Feathers. It's
cool name. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been on for over 25 years. In fact, on the 25th anniversary, the station kind of sponsored a trip to Ireland. So we went to Ireland a couple years ago with that. But she's very encouraging with the music. They say so much so that she said, here's some lyrics. Put this to the song. So she is incredible, and says, looked at the calendar and said, you guys aren't working enough. What's happening here? I come home. So I can't say that life is good. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I've heard her show. I was on a TV shoot just a couple years ago before the pandemic, and we were in Columbus. And one of the great places, I thought Columbus was a great city, good food, nice people. And I was tasked with interviewing for a news program that I host in New York City, a TV news program and daily radio show. There was this big architectural and engineering firm based in that area that was working on, I believe, the new police station and just this whole renovation of downtown and the bridges and everything. And then we got a chance to go to the Columbus Art Museum, which was fantastic. It's quite a place. I don't know if you guys have been in it, but we were invited by that engineering firm to go because they're members. It was just a great area, great visit, great people. And then we were up to, on a different shoot, we were in Cleveland, another great scrappy town. And we got a chance to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was awesome and really, really cool. And then we went to there's a Polish area too, where this family invited us to come in to enjoy all this Polish food. Then they took us to this beautiful Polish church in Cleveland. It was really cool. Haven't been to Cincinnati yet. Nothing has gotten me to Cincinnati yet. I hope to get there soon. Yeah. Good stuff, huh? So you're in the Columbus area then? Right.
We're just 20 miles
right there.
Delaware is what, like 20 miles north of downtown Columbus? It would be equivalent, since you're out of the New York area, it'd be like crossing over the bridge and being in Fort Lee or going across the bridge into Washington Heights. Type of thing.
Do you ever get back east, Doug, to your original stomping grounds, New York and area? Family
Yeah,
in there?
my wife loves New York, so yes, we were just there back in was it June, I think. Yeah, we were back there in June. Unfortunately, it's not a vacation when I go back because it's running around seeing family, or I should say whatever family I have left, because I have to deal with Connecticut and parts of New York. Not really too much Manhattan, because nobody I have in family lives in Manhattan. I have friends that still live there, but yeah, we do go back. Used to go back at least. Used to go back before I got married twice a year. Now, if I'm lucky, it's once every other year.
When you're back east, do you get a slice of pizza, a bagel, and a hot dog?
Oh yeah, a funny story. Yeah, right. Okay. First of all, I mean, I can't get my favorite place, I guess, is Ray's Pizza, original Ray's. Then I used to live right across when I lived in Manhattan, because I went to school out here, but then I came back east. I moved back into Manhattan for a while, and I used to live diagonally across from the Dakota, and I was right down the road from Gray's Papaya. I'm sure you maybe know that, guys. So I used to always get 2 hot dogs and a papaya juice. It used to be the best deal in town. So yeah.
Yankees, Mets, Brooklyn Dodgers.
Not of here. I'm going to get. I'm not a big baseball fan, but yeah, I'm a big, and I'm old enough to remember the AFL, so I'm a big Jets fan and Giants fan.
Jets and Giants. Very good answer.
Yeah. People say I can't be both, but I go, yeah, I can, because I remember the teams before the merger.
Well, I never really get into any arguments, because we have a lot of course, Yankees, and then there's Red Sox. And then when they start to do their little, and then they say, well, what are you? And I'm like, I'm a Mets fan. They're like, oh, okay, you're neutral. You have our sympathy. So we're always in the clear. But of course, we went to all the games. We went to Yankee Stadium. We went to Shea Stadium. I still call Citi Field Shea Stadium, even though they tore it down and they built Citi Field. It's always going to still be Shea. It's just got, we missed that stadium quite a bit. You guys are great. You play well together. You sound great. You're, real guys doing something you absolutely love, and you're in a sweet spot right now. And we really appreciate you taking this amount of time, playing some music, connecting with us here on the Jim Masters Show, talking a little bit about your own individual backgrounds, and then coming together as the group. I thought it was awesome, and I really hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me and all of us as much as I have with you.
Great. It's been great. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
It was a real pleasure, and this will be archived, so you can share the link, the YouTube episode link, on your social media and everything else, in case everybody missed it live. Now, we're going to keep that porch light on for you, like I mentioned to all the guests. You guys are welcome back anytime. Congratulations again on the new music. Congratulations on everything that's coming up for you guys, and we wish you nothing but continued blessings and continued success. Keep making that music, and we'll have you guys back again soon, okay? And spread the word about our show.
Will do, Jim. Thank you so much. It was a blast.
Thank you.
John, Doug, and Tony, you're the best. Thanks for being with us. The Drifter Kings. They're just going to quietly drift off now. Coming to us from Tony's fabulous studio there in Ohio. Thanks, guys. You're the best. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Ready.
Incredible, huh? Great music. Maybe it's the first time you heard the group. You got them all. That's the entire group right there. And we were so pleased to be able to get all 3 guys together. They've got very busy schedules, very busy lives. They're getting ready to go out on the mini tour. They've got the new music out. So there's a lot going on for the Drifter Kings. And it was really cool hearing their individual experiences. These guys have been doing this for a long time. And Doug, as I mentioned, Broadway, off-Broadway, commercials, television, stage. He's a veteran in the industry. Tony as well. John is their newest member, guitarist and vocalist, of course. John Simon, Tony Harp joining us, bassist and vocalist, and of course, founding member, and just a great guy, drummer. Doug Osgard is joining us here on the show from Ohio. Cool stuff, just outside Columbus. If you ever get a chance to visit Columbus, it's a cool city. We really appreciate the guys joining us here on the show. And again, if you want to check out their music, go to their site, thedrifterkings.com. Again, they love playing together. And what I think is really cool about these conversations, we don't really call these interviews, as you guys know. We call these conversations here. You get a chance to learn a little bit more about the folks that you admire, the folks that maybe you followed for years, or folks perhaps that you're learning about for the very first time, who they are, what they're about, what makes them tick, their passions, how they put things together. Like in this case, their incredible music. You got a chance to hear a little snippet of it as well. But if you want to hear the real thing, go to the website and pick up their music and just start playing it. Give it as a gift. If you think the world's a little crazy and upside down right now, listen to the Drifter Kings. They're going to get the feet tapping. You're going to feel really good. And thanks to all the folks who have been commenting and who have been just raving about what we've been talking about here on the show. You guys are JMS Lovities watching from around the world. You're absolutely the best. You've got the best viewers, the best supporters watching here. If you love what we do, a couple of things. Don't forget to give it a like, thumbs up like, share this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is Jim Masters TV, and definitely drop a comment underneath the actual episode. Even if you commented in our JMS Lovity chat room, drop a comment for us. We would absolutely love that. So you can interact with us, and we really appreciate it. And Kathleen Walker, hey, we love that, from New York City. They're in Queens, the Queen of Queens. Super sticker she just did in support of the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show series. You are cool, Kathleen. Kathleen is a cool cat. Thanks so much for that, Kathleen. We really appreciate that. And sometimes I call her Kathy because I have a cousin, Kathy, but we'll say Kathleen. Kathleen, you're the best. We really appreciate that. That's so cool of you to do that in support of our series. Thanks for all the great comments, everybody. That helps support us when you do that in the Lovely Hole chat room. And Jen Berry watching in Pennsylvania. They're coming to Erie. I know you're over in Scranton, Harrisburg, York, Lebanon area. Maybe make your way over to Erie, Jen, and catch the guys. They'd love to see you. Jim, thank you for bringing the Drifter Kings to us. Please bring them back. A new favorite of mine. Perfect. Yes. New fans they've got here on the Jim Masters Show. You got it, Jen. Kathleen, thank you again. Thanks for bringing the best. You rock. I appreciate that. Watching in the UK, of course, Lisa Barrett. We love seeing you here. Hi, Jim and everyone. We love having you here. Don't forget, you can see this. If you come in late, you can see the entire episode and all the music and everything that we're doing here archived. Yeah, it's all archived. We're just about 3 episodes away from 1,000 episodes. That's a lot of shows, a lot of lovity. And Jane watching in Sweden, thanks for being here tonight, guys. Thank you, Jim. Good night, all. Kind of late there in Sweden, I know. And Kathleen and everybody watching and everybody commenting, we appreciate it. And everybody that's here. And if you joined us late, watch the episode archived. For all of us here, this is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, one more time, we thank the entire gang. We got the whole group together. Great guys. Tony, Doug, and John, the Drifter Kings, joining us here. Blues, roots, lots of rhythm, great music. And we are very honored to have them here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. So if you enjoy it, spread the word about our series and come back and see us again. We've got so many incredible guests coming your way for you to entertain, inspire, put smiles on your face, bring us all together from around the world and just have a good time and learn. And sometimes our conversations go deep. There's nothing scripted. There's no questions that are prepared. You know, a lot of times with interviews, there's questions prepared and everything is very sort of scripted and stoic. We just let it ride and let it roll free flowing. We have a good time. Merlin watching in Ontario, Canada. Thanks, guys, for being here with us. Yes. And one more time, thank you, Kathleen, for that generous super sticker that she did as well. And we are just shy of 1,000 since we started this show in the beginning of the pandemic, just about 3.5 years ago. That is a lot. Thank you very much. We'll have to do something for the 1,000. That's a lot of shows. All right, gang. This is your host, Jim Masters. Thank you for your time this time. Till next time. Again, we appreciate you and we thank you so much for watching our series. Don't forget to like, thumbs up, like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, where this episode and all the others are there for your binge watching, binge away, and have a great time. And don't keep it a secret. Don't keep it a secret that we exist. Let everybody know that we're here, and we appreciate that. All right. So for everybody here, yes, Merlin in Canada says relax. We shall do that. It is time to relax. It's about, 25 after 8 Eastern time here. It's time to relax, guys. We'll see you soon. Thanks for being with us on the Jim Masters Show Live. Be well, and cheers.